A deep reckoning is now underway. Tonight, a government contractor with a top-secret security clearance is behind bars. He is accused of leaking highly sensitive classified material about U.S. military operations based on documents obtained during a search warrant at the home of a Washington Post reporter. Take a look.
Another piece of information that I think is very important is the leaker has been found and is in jail right now. And that's the leaker on Venezuela. A very bad leaker. So there could be some others, and we'll let you know about that. We're hot on their trail. But the leaker has been found, and the leaker's in jail. And will probably be in jail for a long time. Let's see what happens.
All right, here with more U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi is with us. Madam Attorney General, great to have you. All right, when we're talking about leaking about a military operation, if somebody that has top security clearance, in fact, does that, they are putting troops directly in harm's way. What can you tell us about the case, in this particular case, others that may be involved? And when does the press maybe cross a legal line? Because the press is obviously involved in this also.
Yeah, and Sean, in April, I did a memo rescinding Merrick Garland's memo saying that reporters will not be subpoenaed. We will not look at reporters' phones. I rescinded that because we have to protect our classified information and the heroic men and women in the military. And Sean, the First Amendment is a bedrock principle, but this isn't about that. This is about classified material that could jeopardize lives. And this IT guy that worked for Department of War, and Pete Hegseth has been amazing, and he's up against a lot with these people. This guy that worked, he was a contractor, IT contractor, who had classified information, is charged now with leaking classified information involving a foreign adversary. He could jeopardize the lives, the safety of our men and women in the military. So today, it's been reported that the great men and women of the FBI executed a search warrant at the direction of Kash Patel and my office on the reporter's home, seizing the devices that contained classified material regarding our foreign adversaries. And that's what we're looking into now. But the guy from the IT department is in jail. President Trump has made it very clear. You will not jeopardize the men and women in our military, and you will not leak classified information.
I mean, I guess there could be a couple of scenarios. One, if the press was soliciting classified material
Yes.
purposefully, and maybe that could be proven, maybe that can't be proven. Or what if something is sent that's classified and the reporter had no idea it was classified?
If the reporter had no idea it's classified, we have the right to have that returned to the Department of Justice. I cannot, and to the Department of War is where it belongs. I cannot talk about the facts of this case because right now it's just a search warrant to retrieve the information that belongs to the Department of War. But the guy who worked for the Department of War, he is in jail, and he should remain in jail.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to Minnesota. You have multiple employees now that have resigned. They didn't like the fact that there's an investigation into some of these groups. We call it astroturfing. There are different groups, even crowds that you can purchase, believe it or not, which is insane. And they didn't want to be a part of this. And you need to get to the bottom of is who might be financing the instances that would be putting ICE agents' lives in jeopardy. Isn't that legitimate? That seems legitimate to me, especially in light of, you know, an 8,000% increase in the threat level and a 1,300% increase in, you know, attacks against these guys.
Yeah. Sean, we support Secretary Noem. We support our men and women of Homeland Security and ICE, who are out there taking predators off the street every day around the country, and they're doing it in Minnesota. What happened in Minnesota? We had 6 prosecutors who suddenly decided they didn't want to support the men and women in ICE. One of them was busy doing a photo shoot with the New York Times while ICE was out there risking their lives. So they came, they said, we want to resign, but we want to use our annual leave up until April, meaning they wanted the taxpayers to pay for them to go on vacation because they decided they didn't want to support law enforcement. So the breaking news tonight, I fired them all. They're fired from the office. And our U.S. attorney there, Rosen, he's great. He was just confirmed 3 months ago. So he has his hands full. And that's what we're facing around the country, the deep state, in many of these offices. And we learned these people had been out there interviewing at liberal law firms prior to this. But I'll tell you what, from a personnel level, they'd be an HR nightmare. So people better look into them. One of them, actually, in 2022, defended BLM when they burned down a pawn shop and someone was murdered. Yeah, they want to be part of the resistance. Yeah, bring it on. They're not going to be working for Donald Trump and the Department of Justice any longer. But that's what we're up against, not only in Minnesota, but around this country.
That's almost impossible to comprehend, but nothing surprises me anymore. All right, Attorney General Pam. Yeah, go ahead.
And Sean, also, we had our great men and women in the U.S. Attorney's Office in California and Eastern Michigan say, we'll come in, we'll prosecute those cases. So get ready. Good riddance to the 6 that are gone. Our great other prosecutors from around the country are coming in to protect the men and women of ICE.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.